Wow, Season 4. Can't believe it actually came. It's interesting how much we've grown. If you compare the beginning of Season 1 to the end of Season 3, at first it was just a small band of people fighting to free a planet, and now it's a big effort to restore freedom to the galaxy. And our main characters have grown, despite all the loss so far they have received. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about. I have some news. Season 4 will be the last one. It will be the final season comprising of 6 episodes, but things have changed. Last season ended about 2 years before the Battle of Yavin, and now we're merely a couple weeks away from the Battle of Scarif, so there will be a time jump. And all our characters have grown because of it. Chris has now stepped back from the leadership position, allowing General Morgid to command, and allowing himself to mature more into the Jedi he is. Carly has also risen in the ranks of the Rebel Alliance, and lived up to her reputation as the warrior when she was introduced. And Josh has grown the most. From the beginning of the show, he was almost like a pirate rebel. He didn't adhere to the Jedi ways, but coming back to that world has changed him, and he began to embrace the Force. Over the course of seasons 2 and 3, we saw him deal with many of those things, such as the temptation of the dark side, his feelings for Carly, his overall sense of attachment to his friends. But Coruscant was ultimately his greatest trial, and now that he's overcome that, he will begin to mature more into a Jedi. Part of being a Jedi is acting selfless, and this season will really, truly test our 2 Jedi to see if they can live up to that. Our friend Harrison has also grown into more of a main character, and he will get a fair share of the spotlight this season. And don't worry, the rest of the gang will be back. Another main factor to consider also is where we are at in the timeline. As I said earlier, we're smack down days away from the origin of the story, the events surrounding the Death Star, Jyn Erso, and more importantly, Luke Skywalker. And we'll get to see how this connects to the main part of the saga. We've already seen characters in the show like Tarkin, Thrawn, Yoda, Vader, and the Emperor himself. But that more so connected with the events of Rebels. Star Wars Rebels, the current running TV show. And now we will connect more to the events of the live-action films. You will see Tarkin and the Emperor again. You will get a cameo from director Krennic. But I don't want them to overshadow the real villain, which is General Horlick. He's been hunting these rebels down for 2 years now, with little to no success. And the Emperor is most displeased. But he will be hot on our heroes' tails, and midway through the season, he will get a new weapon. But you'll have to wait to see why. Most importantly, one of the things I value most is continuity. Now, I can't say at this time whether Star Wars is still adhering to that, mostly referring to Kanan Jarrus and his Padawan Ezra Bridger of Star Wars Rebels, due to the fact that at the time of filming, the 4th season has not yet aired. But I value continuity, and one thing that is most important is how the Jedi of my show factor into the Rebel Alliance as a whole that we see in Star Wars Rebels, Rogue One, and the original trilogy. Many of the characters could easily be shoved into the Alliance on Yavin, and ultimately, that is where they do end up, as that's what history shows us. But the question is, who makes it to Yavin? This doesn't mean the Jedi have to die, but it doesn't mean they won't. The thing is, they can't be involved in the Rebel Alliance by the time of Rogue One. So what happens? Do they go off into exile? Do they die? Or something else? That's a big what if. But I can guarantee that however it happens, it will be a satisfying ending to the show. And of course, while Yavin will not be shown in the series, they do end up at Yavin, well, the survivors at least, or who's still involved, they will end up on Yavin by the end of the series. I won't let you guys go without something, though. So, of course, without further ado, here's a sneak peek of Season 4. Enjoy.